Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and we're so excited to have such a buzz in the room, to see so many of our friends and our partners. We'd like to welcome you to the 2024 Arapahoe County State of the County Address. I'm Carrie Warren Gully, Chair of the Arapahoe County Board of Commissioners, and thank you. And as we do at the beginning of every meeting, I would like to ask those who can stand to please do so and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And our staff is probably already frustrated with me because I've skipped around in the script without even knowing it. So I want to start us off by welcoming you all, and also to have you see a short video that we've put together on the work of counties in Colorado.
When somebody says Arapahoe County, what do you think of?
It's good fishing.
It's a safe place to live.
Arapahoe is Colorado's first and oldest county. It was named for the Arapahoe tribe, which occupied most of Colorado before statehood. But what exactly does a county do? Arapahoe County fills the gap between state and city government. It provides the services we all depend on.
Arapahoe County 911, where is your emergency?
The really important stuff, like law enforcement through the sheriff's office.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Motor vehicle services and elections, property valuation, and tax collection. Arapahoe County keeps kids and at-risk adults safe through our human services programs. We help build strong communities by creating affordable housing, protecting our neighbors, and working with our veterans. We create and maintain parks and open spaces, keep our communities resilient through public health. Job seekers and employers turn to us to build a thriving business community. And we build and maintain roads that connect our communities. Arapahoe County has come a long way since 1855. It's the state's third largest county, home to 655,000 residents, maybe 800,000 over the next 25 years. We are 13 cities and towns, 9 school districts, more than 500 local improvement and special districts that help enhance our quality of life. Things like libraries, rec centers, and utilities that power your home. In simple terms, Arapahoe County is the beating heart of local government, and we're here for our neighbors on their best days and their worst.
Oh my God, dude, look at it go.
Our elected leaders and employees share your goals of preserving what makes Arapahoe County the best of everything Colorado has to offer. It's why you put down roots here, raise families, start and run businesses, We hope you'll take some time to learn more about Arapahoe County and all the things we do to make sure this is the place you love to call home.
Thank you very much. And as I said, welcome. We're so glad to have you here today. We do have a lot of very special VIPs that are in the room today, and we'd like to recognize them first. I'd like to start with my colleagues up here on the stage. We have Commissioner Jessica Campbell with District 1. Two? Sorry. I'm 1, she's 2. Very early in the morning here. Okay. This is not a good start. Commissioner Jeff Baker, District 3. Commissioner Leslie Summey, District 4. Commissioner Bill Holen, District 5. We also have our other partners in our elected officials of Arapahoe County, and we have PK Kaiser, our assessor. Clerk and Recorder Joan Lopez, Coroner Dr. Kelly Lear, Treasurer Michael Westerberg, also Alana Spiegel with the CU Regents is here today. And we have several congressional staff members with our federal partners. If you could stand so we could recognize you. We also have some of our wonderful city partners here, the mayors and council members that are here today. We so appreciate that. Would you please stand so that we can recognize you for being with us? We also have members of our Board of Health here today. If you'd stand so we can recognize you. In the audience, we have many of our economic development partners, our cultural and educational partners, our nonprofit friends, business leaders, and small business owners. Maybe even some of our boards and committee members, and of course, our residents. So we welcome you here today to join us in a conversation. So government is in the news a lot these days, and mostly, unfortunately, for the wrong reasons. As our political landscape gets more and more polarized, Americans are losing faith in our governmental structures and are feeling out of touch with their elected officials. They're feeling removed from the very process that affects their lives. And while that sentiment is growing across the United States, there is a place where government is accessible and responsive, where elected leaders listen to the needs of their communities, where lawmakers tackle very difficult challenges that are most important to their residents. And it is a place that is right here in Arapahoe County. County governments are some of the most intimate forms of government because they give residents direct access to the governing process. Our meetings are open, whether just to listen to, if that's what you want to do with a couple hours of your day, or to provide public comment. Our study sessions are available online so people can hear the depth and detail of the research that goes into our decision making. Our staff is there to answer questions so that residents feel better about the decisions that have been made. And our elected leaders are out in community where we get to talk with folks one-on-one in small groups. This access helps us to be better leaders. It informs our policy work. It ensures that the things that we put in place for the county will ultimately serve the needs of our people. Arapahoe County government, by design, is responsive to the needs of our community. It leads to some very great outcomes. So this morning, we'd like to share with you some of our recent successes as well as some of our current challenges. We have accomplished a lot this year, and I mean a lot since the last time we saw you. We did this by listening to residents and to working with our stakeholders, by analyzing all sides of an issue before we make decisions, by being responsive. This is in our blood, and it helped us to do some spectacular things this year. And with that, we'd like to start with some very important milestones that are worth celebrating. And the very first one is that we are elated to begin 2023 on a very high note as we launched our new public health department. Now, I am telling you, this is no small feat. After 44 years of being a part of Tri-County Health Department, we opened our doors to a single county health department on January 1st. This amazing team of public health professionals hit the ground running as they effectively managed, right off the bat, a few public health crises. In the first year of operation, they've helped keep our families safe as they have managed actual outbreaks of meningitis and measles. They've kept consumers safe by performing inspections at restaurants, child care facilities, tattoo shops, pools, and nail salons. This year, they launched a new mobile harm reduction vehicle that helps combat the growing opioid and fentanyl epidemic that is hitting Arapahoe County and the state very hard. Looking to the future, the department completed a community health assessment, which helps us to learn about the health of the population, factors that contribute to high health risks, and it identifies community assets and resources that improve health. The county undertook a lot of planning to provide a seamless transition to the new Arapahoe County Public Health Department. And we are blown away by the positive impacts the team has demonstrated over and over again just in their first year. And as I said, we do have some of our public health board members alongside this amazing professional staff, and we would very much like the whole team to stand so we can recognize you.
Thank you. We're also celebrating one of the shining stars of the county, and that's our Open Spaces program, which is celebrating its 20th birthday. It all started back in November of 2003, sorry about that, when voters approved a ballot measure to introduce a 1/4-cent open space sales and use tax to support local parks, trails, and open spaces. With overwhelming support, voters permanently reauthorized the tax in 2021, ensuring that the program and our properties will be around for future generations. Our residents absolutely love our parks, trails, and open spaces. They know that these assets contribute to their quality of life and their health. The program has deep roots throughout the county. Since the beginning, we've distributed more than $330 million to municipalities, special districts through our shareback and grant programs. We all benefit from this program. And in the last 20 years, we've protected 32,000 acres for future parks and open space projects. We've built or improved about 78 miles of trails and funded 196 park and trailhead projects. Let's give our Open Spaces team a big round of applause for the work they do. Please stand.
So I'd like to highlight 2 open space projects. First, we celebrated the reopening of Cheyenne Arapahoe Park last year, and that's in the 4 square mile neighborhood in my district, District 4. If you've never been, you need to go. This is a 4.6 acre park. It honors the Plains Native American tribes and was expanded and renovated last year with a new community garden, with an off-leash dog area that the Summy dogs love to hang in. We have natural play areas and multiple shade and picnic areas.
And I'm going to jump in.
Are you? Okay.
I have a project in my district that is very exciting. And Team Centennial, I see you. I'm looking at you. We are super, super close to reopening the Dove Valley Regional Park in Centennial. The enhancements we are making there include athletic field upgrades, improved street access, additional parking, a new shade pavilion, new playgrounds, and a new multi-use community lawn. Still being designed and built are a new bike park with mountain biking trails and a skills course for kids and for the young at heart. Everyone here is invited to the opening later this summer, and we hope you'll come check it out and enjoy it absolutely. We're very excited.
So one common theme to these celebrations are the comprehensive plans that drive their development. These plans are developed in consultation with our residents, municipalities, and our stakeholders. They drive our work. They're designed to bring positive changes in sustainable and appropriate ways. And as we've managed growth over the past few years, it's become even more important to have an overarching plan that drives the county's vision. And that's why we've adopted a new 3-year strategic plan. We're purposeful in creating and refining this plan, which is based on several principles. First, we look through the lenses which include human, environmental, social, and economic sustainability. These help us meet the needs of today while also empowering future generations to thrive. And our strategic plan is data-informed and uses evidence-based tools to inform how to best utilize our limited resources. We engaged our stakeholders in this process as we need to understand and respond to community values in our decision making. We work within and across the organization to implement outcomes through collaboration. And we look at the financial implications of every project we review, and we take equity into consideration to ensure that the communities impacted by county policies are heard, understood, and considered. We hope you'll take a moment to look at our strategic plan, and guess what? We've made it simple for you because there's a link to it on the card on your table.
Before I begin with my remarks on the county, I want to acknowledge that today is the 80th anniversary of the attack or the breaching the walls at Normandy, and with the collaboration of the United States and its allies that begin the battle to rid the world of totalitarianism and Nazism, and restore the faith of and ability of our colleagues to enjoy and breathe take the breath of freedom again. One last item to mention as we look back at the past year are the positive impacts we've been able to accomplish with the one-time funding from the American Rescue Plan Act. In 2021, the county received a little more than $127 million in ARPA funding to help recover from the pandemic. We worked with our partners to identify where the needs were greatest, and we have created categories to apply funding to these areas. I'd like to emphasize again that the bulk of our ARPA money was shared directly with our residents, businesses, and nonprofits. Our county used a different approach. We wanted to make sure that we got funds into the community where we could help the most people. We accomplished a lot with ARPA, and that we couldn't do with our existing budget. We just didn't have the money, and we'll talk about that later. During the pandemic, we were able to provide food, rental assistance to our residents. We were able to help keep them in their homes. We provided direct support to businesses. Over $7 million in federal funds were dispersed with our local businesses to keep them alive during the pandemic. We were able to provide for mental health and physical health in our community.
So now we'd like to highlight a few of the many programs we funded through ARPA. We were able to kickstart our homelessness action plan, something you'll hear more about this morning. We worked with Family Tree to open an early childhood education center on the Goals campus in Aurora. This opens up 70 child care slots in an area of the county that is a child care desert and which is near and dear to my heart.
Arapahoe Community College launched a new health innovation center with our help, and it is now training future healthcare workers in a state-of-the-art facility.
Likewise, the Community College of Aurora opened its STEM, Power Mechanics, and Sustainable Energy program thanks to ARPA fund.
A few weeks ago, we broke ground on the Aurora Mental Health and Recovery's Crisis and Acute Care Center. This will provide critical and immediate help for residents needing mental and behavioral health services.
And finally, a big project for the sheriff is currently underway. That's the renovation of the detention center, where we're creating new medical and behavioral health areas, as well as replacing the current kitchen and laundry. This will create a safer environment for both inmates and the staff that work there. As we've said, these are just a few of the examples of the great work that we've been completing in the past year. And this is all thanks to this one-time funding that was ARPA.
Now I'd like to turn us to sustainable development. This is an important consideration and item for our board as we wrote the strategic plan, because Arapahoe County has been and continues to grow. And we know that our work affects both the here and now as well as the future. This board is deeply committed to prioritizing the protection of human and environmental health and combating climate change. As such, we are thoughtful and intentional in our work to ensure our growth is sustainable. And nowhere in our work is this more evident than the work we have done to revamp our oil and gas regulations. And we hear from residents about this topic more than any other. Last year, we spent countless hours listening to concerns and meeting with stakeholders to ensure that we are being sensitive to the needs of our current and future generations. In November, I'm proud to share that we passed Phase 1 amendments to our oil and gas regulations that require operations to be 1 mile away from existing and planned reservoirs, increased setbacks from occupied structures and activity areas to 3,000 feet, the largest setbacks in the state, protect wildland and urban areas, and require soil contamination testing and create groundwater and surface water quality plans, and require 24-hour air quality and noise monitoring. And while we are very proud of the prudent progress we've made in these important protections, we still have more to do. And I am looking forward, and we're all getting ready for our Phase 2 amendments. And we will again meet with our stakeholders and residents to ensure we're doing everything we can to help keep people, animals, and the environment safe.
Our board made a commitment to include resident voices in this work, which is why a few weeks ago we petitioned the Colorado Energy and Carbon Management Commission to hold a public hearing on the proposed Lowry Ranch Comprehensive Area Plan. We had more than 120 residents share their thoughts, and it was the first time the commission agreed to hold such a meeting. The turnout indicates how important it is for us to get these regulations right so that people feel safe in their homes.
We talk a lot about growth and the need for affordable housing. These conversations cannot be had without considering our most precious resource. That's water. Last year, we kicked off a water supply study to help us plan for the current and future water needs. This will inform our land use decisions and help us to effectively manage growth for future generations. The study is assessing water supplies and demands of future populations through the year 2050. It will recommend the ways that we can use water more efficiently, identify any potential shortages, and will suggest sustainable revisions to the Land Development Code. We're going to host more public meetings and information sessions later this year, as we head into the final stretch of that study.
One of the best ways to help future generations in the environment is by ensuring that our roadways operate efficiently. Getting people from one place to another without wait results, reduced emissions, and certainly frustration. And that is certainly the case on Iliff Avenue between South Parker Road and Quebec Street, where last year we completed a $30 million improvement project. The new roadway features 2 through lanes in each direction, plus acceleration and deceleration lanes, signal improvements, and safer pedestrian access. And we know many of you were elated when 2 dilapidated buildings at the corner of South Parker Road and Iliff were demolished. The county purchased the old barn store, which was my landmark when I was a kid. I knew that we were close to Aunt Shirley and Uncle Jerry's house when I saw the barn store. So we have made improvements by taking away the barn store and buying that land.
And Commissioner Summey, while we're talking transportation, our Public Works and Development Department also completed an infrastructure report card last year exhibiting our commitment to transparency. The report analyzes the $1.26 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars worth of transportation assets that the county owns that we all use and enjoy. Things like roadways, bridges, traffic signs, culverts, guard rails, etc. And here's the deal on the report card. The news is not great. 41% of our roadways are in poor condition, while 59% are in fair or good condition, which honestly is not a surprise when you know that since 2004, the budget to maintain these assets has not kept up with inflation or impacts from increased use from our growing population, which has resulted in this asset deterioration. And it makes sense then for us to prioritize maintenance of paved roadways as they are our highest value assets and most used, but it also means we are pushing off investment in multimodal and public transit options, which are key to cutting the daily human impacts of our environment, on our environment, which is an excellent example of why our board is committed to solving our budget challenges, which, as Commissioner Holland said, we will get to in a few minutes, and I know you guys are so excited about that part.
One last note about sustainable development. Many of you I know are fans of the Highline Canal. It is one of the longest, most spectacular linear parks in the nation, at over 71 miles long. It spans 11 governmental jurisdictions, weaves through residential neighborhoods, public parks, golf courses, and cemeteries. The canal offers those traveling its banks a slice of nature in the urban setting. 2 weeks from now, we will be sharing some exciting news about the canal's ownership and future direction. This change will keep to ensure that the canal remains the important recreational asset that it is. And best of all, it will be protected for generations to come. Watch for that special announcement soon.
Ooh, soon. Very, very, very soon. So let's talk housing. Housing is one of the most complex and controversial important policy areas for our state, our municipalities, and of course the county. And this is undeniable. Affordable and attainable housing is one of the most critical components to our quality of life. And it's no secret that here in Colorado, it is in very short supply. Both last year and this, we worked closely with our legislators, our mayors and councils to support policies that increase our stock of and percent of households' income. It will create, in 2023, we signed on to Proposition 123, which is a dedicated state income tax that funds housing projects. It creates a state affordable housing fund that dedicates 0.1% of the state income tax revenue to fund housing projects. This will allow us to acquire and maintain land for the development of affordable housing. It will create a housing equity program to make investments in multifamily rental units that ensure that rent is no more than 30% of a household's income. It will also help us work with developers to create more affordable housing, and it is and will help provide rental assistance housing vouchers, and other case management for our neighbors that may be experiencing homelessness. In terms of our overall capacity, Arapahoe County has one of the most diverse housing stocks in the state. We have more than 108,000 housing units approved and ready to be built today. That's housing for at least 284,000 individuals, which is almost enough to meet the needs of our expected population growth by 2030. That's some great numbers, but our work is not done. We need more of that full spectrum of housing. That means whether it's helping people transition out of homelessness, or helping a young person buy their first home, or an older adult like my husband and I who are looking to downsize now that our children are gone. We need more housing options, and this is a very important point for us to be discussing. We've tackled our housing challenges with our municipalities and our nonprofit partners, and we'd like to showcase 3 projects that illustrate this very innovative approach. First is the overlook at Powers Park in Littleton. This property has 51 units featuring 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment homes for adults 62 and older. The property is made affordable through low-income housing tax credits.
Another project will provide housing and supportive services to our unhoused and justice-involved clients. The idea for this began in 2018, when our Justice Coordinating Committee identified a need for more supportive housing for individuals exiting the detention center. This project is a passion for former Commissioner Nancy Jackson. She got this off the ground and is still involved in seeing it through. The current plans for this project include 60 apartments alongside on-site services from All Health Network and Aurora Mental Health and Recovery, and county services from our Workforce Development Center, Arapahoe Douglas Works. We used $3 million in ARPA funding to purchase the land, and we're partnering with Brothers Redevelopment on this project. This will be the first project of its kind in the county, and one of the first in the metro area. Finally, the city of Sheridan will see a 149-unit affordable housing project come online soon with the development of a project called Bonsai Flats. These units won't go for market rate. They will be affordable, and they will be an asset to hardworking families and individuals.
One last highlight of our housing work is the passage of accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. This is another area where we worked closely with our residents to develop solutions to very real problems. We approved adding ADU regulations to the Land Development Code to expand the range of housing options and address affordability and availability. This is within unincorporated parts of the county. In our new regulations, they allow both attached and detached ADUs in all agricultural and most residential zoning districts on lots with at least 5,000 square feet. After a robust public comment period, we adjusted requirements to better suit urban areas and create regulations that work for different areas of the county. Housing is one of our most important focus areas over these past few years, 2 years. Housing is both an immediate need and a future need, and we've worked tirelessly to be responsive to the needs of our residents and to our partners.
We couldn't be more responsive to the community if we didn't include economic mobility, one of the most important policy tools. It's one of the lenses we use as we create and refine services. Let's be blunt. We know living in Colorado is expensive, and that's why our residents need economic mobility to satisfy basic needs and enjoy their quality of life. Now it is more important than the work we have done to support those experiencing homelessness. On any single night, there are more than 500 of our neighbors are facing homelessness. And many of our residents are living on the brink, just one lost paycheck or an emergency expenses creates a real crisis at home. That's why we created the Homeless Coordinating Committee, which has partnered with more than 100 local municipalities, agencies, and individuals who are taking a regional approach to this issue. Regionalism is the only way we can address such a comprehensive challenge. The committee manages resources, leverages partnerships, collaborates to improve and enhance access to services. The committee developed a homelessness action plan that was approved this year. It focuses on 5 key areas: preventing homelessness through outreach and service coordination, promoting safe shelters and affordable options, presenting data and shared knowledge with our partners to make decisions that are appropriately defined and data supported, providing supportive services and partnering to maximize resources and create legislative alignment and policy actions across the county.
A highlight of our homelessness work is the Ready to Work West Side program. The Tri-Cities Policy Group, that's the cities of Centennial, Inglewood, Littleton, and Sheridan, have identified a need to open a Ready to Work bridge house on the west side of the county. Now, Ready to Work is already an established local program with very successful outcomes. They are located in Aurora. We have a wonderful program in Aurora and up in Boulder. These programs have an 80% success rate. Participants get long-term employment opportunities and housing while they are enrolled in the program. Homelessness affects everyone in our county. It's a growing challenge across the state of Colorado, and we've heard from our partners that this work is critical and timely when you consider it alongside the housing shortages and the cost of living that we're seeing.
So economic mobility is especially important to our veterans. It is an honor and our duty to help those who have given so much for this country. Arapahoe County has one of the largest veteran populations in the state, and that's why we have 2 veteran service centers, one in Aurora and one in Littleton, to help our veterans and their dependents obtain the federal and state benefits they're eligible for and entitled to. We assess needs, determine eligibility, and advocate for benefits. We provide resources and make referrals to a variety of supportive community programs and services. We also work closely with our federal delegation to increase funding for this very important program.
And one of the most important ways that we help with economic mobility is to ensure that we have a strong and well-trained workforce. Our residents have access to training to improve their skills and support in finding thriving wage jobs. Our Workforce Development Center, Arapahoe Douglas Works, helps both residents and businesses. This past year, AD Works, as we call it, hosted more than 100 hiring events and 20 job fairs with more than 3,500 job seekers and 800 businesses. And to help people train for new careers, they launched a new apprenticeship program. So we're all familiar with apprenticeships in construction trades, but this program takes that concept and expands it to new industries where people can earn while they learn. And we've had apprentices in cybersecurity, digital marketing, and horticulture. So there are many inspiring stories about the 96 people who participated in this program over the year, but indulge me for a second. My favorite story is about a single mom who went from working for minimum wage to an apprenticeship in advanced manufacturing. So not only did she set out on a career path with upward mobility that will increase her income to better provide for her babies, but she also traveled to see the components that she made with her own hands launch into space, which is a kind of job satisfaction that improves your overall quality of life as well. We are obviously incredibly proud of this amazing program and how it's connecting job seekers to new opportunities to improve their quality of life, keeping quality jobs within our community, and helping employers find the employees they need to have thriving businesses.
We're very proud of the programs and services and the people that we highlighted today, and I hope you saw that through our enthusiasm. Arapahoe County has so many great things happening that it's impossible to cover them all in this very short time that we have with you all this morning. But our ability to provide these programs and services is in jeopardy. And it is the elephant in the room that we kept referencing and you all have heard us talk about. But commissioners and elected officials have been hitting the pavement the past few months talking about a significant budget shortfall. That shortfall will affect our ability to provide essential services starting next year. After years of insufficient tax revenues, combined with a continued increase for demand in our services, Arapahoe County is facing a choice. And we're asking from residents and stakeholders for your input, and I know that we've been talking with many of you in this room. We're asking residents to consider either reducing or eliminating many county essential services, or to consider a couple of alternative funding sources to sustain these amazing programs that you've heard about today. As we've begun these discussions in the community, the first question always is, well, how did this happen? It's a combination of factors, and first is that the only sales tax that the county has is allocated to only our open spaces. That is protected by the ballot initiative, and it is only to go to open spaces. Or it's the fact that the county hasn't asked voters to raise sustaining funds ever. And Arapahoe County has always been fiscally responsible with our budget. The budget gets balanced every year, although it's been to the detriment of ongoing deferred maintenance and capital projects. And this fiscal approach has helped maintain a very baseline level of service. But immense population growth and inflation have made deep impacts on our ability to provide the services you've heard about today.
Likewise, every year, the property tax rate for residents is adjusted based on projected revenue collections and the limitations imposed by the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. Everybody's familiar with the Taxpayers Bill of Rights, otherwise known as TABOR. It limits the amount of revenue that governments in Colorado can retain and spend. As a result, our policy has always been to adjust the county's mill levy and essentially provide a tax credit to residents. For example, this year we reduced our share of property taxes by 29%, leaving more than $74 million uncollected. Let's put that in perspective. Arapahoe County receives only 12% of everything that we collect in property taxes, those property taxes that residents pay. For example, a home valued at $500,000, and I'm not sure you can find a home at $500,000 anymore, but just use that as an average, the county keeps only $32 a month for all the services to support that home.
I think, Commissioner Baker, it's also important to note that many of our overlapping jurisdictions and districts are not capped because they are debruced, which means they can retain that overage in revenue than what was anticipated. So while homeowners' property taxes continue to grow, and we hear about that all the time, and we feel it, we feel people, what we can collect does not grow and actually shrinks our overall portion. So here's what we're saying, y'all. The struggles that we know many in our community are having that make headlines, and the things that impact our everyday lives and our responsibility to address. And unsurprisingly, we have an increased demand in services, as we've said, because of those needs, and a 10-fold increase in cost, while also having a limited stream of revenue that has not kept up. This is unsustainable, and so we must take action. In April, we launched a new website, acbudget.com, which we have also conveniently made very accessible for you on that card on your tables. That's acbudget.com. And there we outline these challenges that we've been talking about in case you want to know more. And we lay out what programs and services are at risk of reduction or elimination if we don't solve this revenue challenge. And I'm going to lay it out here for you all. These could be significant cuts that have a deleterious impact on our residents. Brace yourselves because I'm about to go into it and it is bleak. So these cuts could include up to $12 million less for the sheriff's office budget, which would affect crime prevention and investigation, response times, and our much needed mental health co-responder program. Public Works could be cut by about $3.7 million, affecting road safety, quality, and congestion. And that number, by the way, does not include the more than $316 million in deferred maintenance and needed transportation programs that would continue to go unaddressed. Our Human Services, Public Health, and Community Resources departments could collectively see $4.7 million in reductions, affecting our most vulnerable populations and the health of our entire community and stymieing the progress that we've been making in addressing those needs that we've just been talking about here today. I'm getting a little fired up because so that would include eliminating our homelessness prevention and response programs, support to keep older adults in their homes, and funding to support affordable housing construction, some of the very effective and in-demand programs we've already been talking about this morning. It could also mean eliminating our Aid to Agencies program, which provides millions of dollars in funding to more than 10 safety net nonprofits that in some cases are the only organizations in this county doing that work. Those cuts would affect domestic violence support, food assistance, mental and behavioral health programs, substance abuse treatment, and more. And it would also likely mean a decrease in our economic development investments, which create the upward mobility for our residents and growth opportunities for our local economy.
So you may ask yourselves how we've been able to provide these programs and services and even launch new ones in the past few years. That's been through the use of those one-time ARPA funds that we've talked so much about. ARPA has allowed us to pilot new programs like our homeless response, but ARPA funding dries up at the end of the year. There are three basic alternatives we've been considering, and we've talked to most of you in this room about them, and if I have not called you and you're on my list, I will be reaching out. Storm. And we've been meeting with residents and community groups, chambers of commerce, nonprofit partners, and others to get a sense of what is the best choice. We have much more on our website about these three solutions, but we do want to touch upon them this morning. First is funding for essential services, otherwise known as the county property tax. This would mean asking voters to approve a ballot measure that allows us to raise the county's mill levy back to pre-Tabor levels. This would cost the average homeowner of a $500,000 home about $13 more per month and would provide the county with about $74 million each year. The second option is new funding for essential services or a county sales tax. This would ask voters to approve a ballot measure adding a new 0.25% sales tax. It's estimated to cost the average household about $4.30 more per month, and it would raise about $45 million each year.
The third choice is to make cuts to essential services. This would mean making $35 million in immediate cuts to essential services, such as public safety, roads, and homelessness prevention and response. This would also leave untouched that $316 million in deferred maintenance projects and unmet needs affecting road safety, quality, and congestion, and it would go unaddressed. These are not easy choices. One of my constituents said, I don't envy you making those decisions. This is an important thing for us to solve, as funding affects everything we do and our ability to do it. To be truly representative of our community, we must hear from and engage with our residents and our partners about this challenge. In March, we surveyed residents about these choices, and we're surveying again this week. You may see it come back up through your email or text. So far, there's been no silver bullet identified. No one solution has come out ahead of any others. But it has opened the door to talking about the budget and about how it affects our community.
So let's talk next steps after that. We commissioners, along with coordination with our executive leadership and our directors, as well as in coordination with our elected leaders in our county, must decide whether to put a question on the ballot by the end of August. That's why we're spending the next 2 months getting in the community and talking about what's at stake. And we hope you'll let us know what you think by visiting the website and sharing your thoughts and ideas and in the conversations that we will have. And please feel free to share it on the website and spread, or your social medias, and spread it around. On the website, if you go there, which again is on your table in the car, you'll find some tools to help illustrate the budget considerations, as well as calculators to see what these solutions could cost your family. Fair warning, and I think you're hearing a theme here, you'll be hearing about this a lot over the next few months, because again, funding affects everything we do and our ability to partner with you in our shared work that is much needed for our residents. And to be responsive to those needs of our residents and prevent increased deterioration and harm, we must act soon.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, and we would like to close with some thank yous. First, we want to share our immense gratitude for the incredible people who work for Arapahoe County. We are, by nature, a service organization, and our employees are the direct link to our residents. We are continually inspired by your professionalism, your creativity, your passions, your resilience in the face of very tough challenges. I would like to take a moment to just give a round of applause specifically to the group of staff who are here today that made this amazing event happen. We really want to thank you. We also want to thank our nonprofit partners. The work that you do in our community build better lives. And we want to thank our county businesses for providing all of the things that we need to live and thrive. Whether that's food, products, or services, you keep our economy thriving. And we want to thank our municipal partners. We are in this together, and by working together, we are more responsive to the needs of the people in our community. And finally, we give our heartfelt thank you to the appreciation for our residents. Government is nothing without the people who give it life. You are our neighbors, our brothers and our sisters, friends and associates. You are an inspiration, and we hope you'll join us as we gear up for another exciting year ahead. Now, we couldn't leave this wonderful space without making a plug for our very favorite event of the year, and that is the 2024 Arapahoe County Fair. So please join us on July 25th through the 28th for 4 days of competitions, animals, fun rides, and of course, I hope we see everyone in the room today at our Boots Not Suits on Thursday, the 25th of July. So thank you for your partnership. Thank you for being here today, and we welcome you to come back for the fair. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.